Anyone want to change the U.S. Constitution? It's only been amended 18 times throughout our history. The Bill of Rights and 17 other amendments, total of 27. Last time was in 1992 over lawmaker pay, and that was an amendment that was first proposed in 1789. The last really new amendment gave 18-year-olds the right to vote. That happened in 1971. Now, former Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens wants to amend it again. He's proposing 6 new amendments, among them one on campaign spending to reverse Citizens United. Stevens also wants to change the Second Amendment to read only state militias and not citizens have the right to bear arms, and he wants to revise the Eighth Amendment to include the death penalty when referring to cruel and unusual punishments. These amendments aren't going anywhere. Let's be honest. We all know that, so we're not going to waste our breath. Here's my question. Given how politically polarized our country is right now, can you imagine a scenario where we amend the Constitution at any point in the near distant future?
No, but I think it was designed so it's to prevent against these sort of in vogue issues to be changed. The things that he's proposing would fundamentally change a huge part of what our country was founded on. So I think it's a good thing that it's so difficult, because this person's in power this year, 2 years later, another party's in power. I mean, the whole point of our nation and our Constitution was to be set in these core values and have the rest of the rights reside with the people and the state.
But 43 years is one of the longest, if not the longest stretch without a new original amendment to the Constitution we've had in our history. Is there any topic, any subject that you can imagine that might
not a single one?
No.
And I'm glad you were up front in this segment and said basically it's not going to happen.
Oh, it's not.
So let's take a look at this for a second. We can't get Congress to agree on an assault weapons ban, whether it's good or bad, and we're going to amend the Constitution of the United States. It's not. The justice may have noble, good ideas, but he's retired now, and there's a reason for that.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Right. And when a Supreme Court justice says it's time to amend the Constitution, that gives you some idea of how dysfunctional he thinks the Supreme Court is getting. Next topic. The Boy Scouts of America continue to earn their merit badges in controversy. The latest one, gay scouts are okay, but gay scout masters, not so much. The group has pulled the charter of a troop in Seattle after it refused to fire an openly gay scoutmaster. The troop's 15 scouts can no longer wear uniforms or logos associated with the Boy Scouts as long as the troop leader keeps his job. Should there be gay scoutmasters? Either of you have a problem with a gay scoutmaster?
No.
Would you want your son in a troop if there was a gay scoutmaster?
I wouldn't have a problem with it. I mean, they're all checked out. I'm sure there's a background check. I don't. The Boy Scouts has to come. I mean, I understand that everybody has their own private issues and so on, but I mean, give it a break. I mean, how long are you going to continue to fight? You're on the losing side of history. It's time to give in, and you know you can find a way to make this work. But stop fighting and being so negative.
It's a shame too. I was a scout growing up, and first of all, there was never any moment where you would even have access to. But it didn't.
Just because you're gay doesn't make you a pedophile.
Exactly.
So the whole notion of it, I find really disturbing. But
and basically, that's what you're saying, not you, but the group. I mean, you're gay, so you have to be a pedophile. Come on, that's ridiculous.
Okay, here's the story that a lot of people have been talking about this week. A Pennsylvania high school student was suspended for 3 days for doing what any guy his age does. He asked a girl to the prom, but Patrick Farves didn't ask just any girl to the prom. He asked Miss America. Nina Delvori was giving a lecture at his school when the kid made his move.
I stood up and I yelled to her. I said, "Miss America, will you go to prom with me?" And then the lady that was, on the floor there, she, kind of gestured for me to come up. So I went up, gave her the flower, and she never even really gave me an answer. She never really responded. But when I gave her the flower, I asked, could I get a selfie with you? And she said maybe later, but I never actually got the selfie.
No, he didn't do himself any favors. Sort of did a little dance at this assembly after he asked. And the bad news does not continue or does not end there for Farves. Miss America says she cannot attend the prom because her schedule does not allow it. That is, by the way, the same answer I got in high school. But Miss America does say that the kid should not be suspended for asking. Should the kid be suspended for asking Miss America to the prom?
Absolutely not. Can we have a little common sense here? I mean, a suspension is a big deal. It goes on your record. It's, you know, it's a really big deal when you're in high school. It was obviously they told him not to do it. He probably shouldn't have done it, but give him detention at the very worst. I mean, this was a completely lighthearted thing, nothing malicious. It was funny. I mean, really, can we get a grip?
That's my man. That young man, that's my man. I give it to him. He's what, maybe
He's got to be 16,
15?
17.
And he had the nerve
Yeah.
to ask Miss America.
He just became the most popular
Yeah.
boy in high school.
But
she
I
said
think.
yes.
But I do want to know which rocket scientist said, okay, we're going to suspend this kid. Which rocket
Well, he interrupted an
scientist?
assembly, so it's not.
Well,
you're not
Big
supposed to
deal.
do that. I mean, you're not supposed to interrupt an assembly. They
Right,
get
but the
very touchy
punishment
about
should fit the crime. Is it really, does this kid really need to be suspended over
I
it?
agree with that he should be praised. There are so many.
Sounds like me. He'll be the host of the Today Show in about 10
It
years.
might be, or next week. The nerve it takes to be able to go up
Yes.
to a celebrity and to be able to
Yes.
ask something like that.
Yes. I wish I would have had that nerve back in high school.
Even if she said no.
No.
He wasn't counting on that.
And by the way, asking anybody to prom is
Big
it's
deal.
a
It's tough.
nervous thing.
It's tough.
It is tough.
It's tough. Seriously.
Because you're afraid they're going to say no, and
tough.
she said no.
Right. it's
My
tough.
senior prom, I asked a boy.
And what did he say?
Yes, of course. Come on.
Of course. Was there any doubt in your mind?
Really?
Yeah.
How did you get the nerve to ask him?
I don't know. I just asked.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, Dominic's going to try to wrap his head around this during the break. We'll wrap up RFL when we come back.